Well, howdy folks. Thanks for clicking on this video and joining in on what is going to be unfinished business. The last video that I recorded shooting my 1860 Army, I was pretty well pleased with the grouping and everything else. But after I got done recording that, I went back into the house and I decided to purchase a 457 round ball mold. Now at that time I was a little concerned with the lead rings that were shaving off the round ball were just a little bit too small, and I was wondering if our mutual friend, my mutual friend in Arizona, had not worked on this cylinder just a little bit. And before I go any further, my last rendezvous, I discovered that he had passed away 2 years ago due to COVID. So, how about just a moment of silence for the dearly departed? Okay, well, with that being said, Jim Fleming, may you rest in peace. So, carrying on now, and thank you for allowing me to do that. So what I did is I got the round ball mold and I cast up some round balls, 457, and off camera I took the cylinder off the revolver and I pressed the 454 in the cylinder, got it out, and I swaged it down the barrel, and I did the same thing, same cylinder, with the 457 round ball. Now I am quite convinced that the camera is not going to be able to pick this up. But having done that and inspected these round balls myself, I can physically see that the rifling on the 457 is actually longer, which would indicate to me that as the round ball was swaged down the barrel, it elongated it, which would, in my mind, make the rifling longer. So, the only way that we can determine for sure if the accuracy is going to be improved with the 457 round ball is to do what? Let's load it up and shoot. So I'm going to be loading this particular day off of the gun, and I just kind of want to talk just a few moments about why I prefer to lube the forcing cone as opposed to putting lube on the front of the cylinder. When I first got into black powder shooting, I lived in Arizona. In fact, I actually, made my first black powder gun from a kit when I turned 18 years old, or thereabouts. And at that time, everything that I was learning back then was, well, you want to put some lube on the front of the mouth of the cylinders to prevent, chain fires and all that kind of stuff. So I did, but I quickly discovered that living in Arizona and walking around with a revolver like this loaded with grease packed in the front of the cylinder, well, the Arizona heat softened it, and the Wonder Lube ran all through my gear. I didn't like that, so I immediately got rid of that and went to the felt wads. And having discussed this with some friends back then, we came to the conclusion that the felt wad from ox yoke was never going to provide enough lube to keep your barrel lubed enough for shooting black powder and keeping the black powder soft. So we all determined at that time among my little groups of friends and shooters that the felt wad is better served as a gas check as it is, providing enough lubrication. And from all of that, I learned how to make my own lube, make my own felt wads, and all of that. So that's why, I prefer to use a felt wad that I've made, because I know that there's enough lubricant on that felt wad to do the job. And if you scroll back to some of the videos, one of the last shooting sessions that I did, I actually showed the inside of the barrel, and it was fairly clean. And that's why I've stated before on this channel, I don't swab and I don't clean the barrel, because out of all these years that I've been doing this, I've never felt it necessary, or I've never had a barrel that was so dirty after a shooting session, or that the fouling affected the shooting. And that's because I've always used a felt wad that was heavily lubricated. And if this sounds like a sales pitch for going to my Etsy store, Lame Beaver Trading Company, it certainly is. So anyhow, let me get loaded up. Once again, I'll be loading off of the pistol, and I will be putting my homemade lube. I will be packing the forcing cone. So let me get this loaded, camera resituated, and we'll see if the 457 is going to improve the accuracy. Stay tuned. Looking at the rings, I think we can all conclude that they are sufficiently thick enough to seat the ball into the cylinder. And once again, just to reiterate, I've always viewed the wads as gas checks as opposed to a delivery system of lubricant. All right, I'm loaded up, and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, just in case you're wondering, we've already determined that this particular revolver wants 30 grains of gunpowder. This is 3F GoX, once again with the felt wad, number 11 CCI percussion cap. I'm going to try to keep this as steady in the rest as I can, recognizing that I would probably do a little bit better if I was on some sort of cloth rest or a sandbag or something to that effect. But it is what it is for now. That was not a cap jam. Probably didn't have it seated all the way on. And it looks like from here I'm shooting a little low. But let's go get a close-up. Well, there's the close-up. 2 in the bull, 1 just above it, and the other 3 obviously are low. So I'm going to load back up and see what it's going to do now that there's a little bit of fouling in the barrel. Okay, round number 2. Well, looks like we have 3 that just about hit the same hole, and 3 that kind of went wild. So let me get that changed out, and we'll try it again. And this time I think I'm going to cut back to 25 grains. With a bigger ball, that might make a difference. So let me get resituated here and we'll see what happens. Okay, here's that target. What I thought was perhaps 3 round ball in the same hole was nothing but the paper plate tearing in between these 2 shots. So there is another close-up of it. All right, I'm going to get reloaded and try another 6 round ball with 25 grains of 3F GoX. Well, from here, it looks like I'm all over the paper plate. I think you'll agree. Once again, this particular rifle does not like anything less than 30 grains. Well, that's the last of my paper targets. I think I'm going to call it a day here. I'm going to go grab that and I'm going to pull the barrel off the gun. Because just thinking back, the last session I did, if I recall correctly, I was actually shooting my homemade black powder. I kind of want to see just how dirty the barrel is now with the GoX. Stay tuned. Pretty sure the camera is picking up well enough just how much more dirtier shooting GoX truly is as compared to my homemade powder. If I can find the video where I showed the barrel after shooting my homemade black powder, I'll put these back to back so you can see for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Okay, so it's not the end of the video. After all, it is Labor Day weekend. We all have an extra day off, so I figured that I would go back to the house and get my homemade gunpowder, shoot it 30 grains with the 4.57 and see if there's just any difference, you know, in the impact sight. I did go ahead and swab and clean the barrel, and I guess that's all I need to say for now. So let's see where the balls are going to impact, and if there's really that much of a difference between factory GoX and my homemade powder with the 4.57 round ball. And this gunpowder is the gunpowder that I did make with the juniper as the charcoal. Well, it looks like I have 3 that shot fairly decent, maybe 4, and 2, well, it looked like shit. Let me go change out the target and see where the next 6 rounds are going to print. I decided, while putting my 30 grains of powder in the cylinder, to go ahead and use the revolver to seat the round ball. It's pretty obvious that when you're using a contraption like this, that your seating pressures are going to change. So just to let you folks know, there are the felt wads, and I will be loading the round ball with the revolver. I just kind of want to see for my own information if that's really changing the impact point, and I kind of suspect it is. But I'll shoot these 6 rounds and maybe we'll confirm it, maybe we won't. Okay, as you can see, I was really concentrating and making sure the pistol was sitting straight up and down, and that I was able to, as best of my ability, keep the top of the sight in the same location at all 6 shots. So let's see how we did. Well, as the close-up shows, that's a pretty respectable group. And as I mentioned, you could kind of see where I was really working hard at keeping the revolver and the front sight pretty much in the same location. But it looks to me like loading the revolver with the loading ram might actually be the better way to go, because it would actually keep your pressures, in my opinion, a little more consistent. Well, as I mentioned, it is Labor Day, so now I'm going to have to go and put my labor to good use and clean a revolver. Let me go get the barrel off the gun, and we'll have a look-see and just see what it looks like. And after I do that, I'll bid everybody adieu. Alright, there's the barrel. All in all, it really doesn't look all that dirty with the homemade gunpowder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the first patch that I ran down the barrel after shooting all that GoX. I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, but there are actually pieces of gunpowder left behind on this rag. So I'm going to run a rag down this barrel right now, and we'll just do a quick comparison. Just to be consistent, all I did was wrap a rag on top of a brush and just ran it down the barrel. Trying to do this so we can at least see that I'm being honest about this. Oh, looks like some crap fell out the front, doesn't it? And there's the rag, and by comparison I can see that there's chunks of fouling on it also. So really there's not a whole lot of differences there. Not too bad with the homemade black powder. So friends, whoops, wait a minute, I forgot something. When I was pulling the target, I decided to grab some of the soft lead round ball. And should be noted that last night or yesterday we ended up with 3/4 of an inch of rain. So the dirt is fairly compacted. So with the soft lead round ball, I think we can see they're not all that terribly deformed. Obviously I wouldn't want to reload these and shoot those, but they're good enough to go back in the melting pot and recast. So thanks for watching, and everybody have a wonderful week. Bye.